Whatever you want to do, man. I'm just happy to be here.
100%. Now with working with your spouse, I get that question a lot. How do you work with your spouse? Firstly, if you don't have a 10 out of 10 relationship, I wouldn't try it. Okay. Because it's another aspect, right? Which
Yeah.
could put undue pressure on a relationship. If you have a great relationship, it can be really, really good. So get your relationship to a 10 out of 10 first and have the foundation there first. So I didn't get my wife to start working with me till we were at least 2 years into the relationship.
Yeah.
Already had a foundation built, everything sorted out, communicate really, really well. So then we're on the same page about everything. So it's really, really smooth.
Yeah. Did she want to work for you, or did you want her to work with you? And you're like, let's wait, honey. Let's really wait until we get this thing more established. Was it anything like that?
Yeah, it was interesting. At the time, she was working at a chemist at a pharmacy
Yeah.
and just making a normal salary. And everything was going well. I said, what are we doing? You could quit that job, help me with the business, and
Yeah.
you can have more time, more freedom, better lifestyle. And she was a bit nervous about it, not hesitant or fearful, just a little bit, oh,
Hmm.
is that okay? Am I allowed to do that kind of a thing? You know? But then worked fantastic. The amount of value she brings to me was way more than the money she was making in the pharmacy. Way, way, way more. So
Yeah, man.
I guess that's probably a bit of insight for any women watching this. If they want to be a stay-at-home wife,
Yeah.
you kind of have to earn it in a funny way these days. So obviously
Hmm.
50 years ago, you're a stay-at-home wife pretty easily, but now I think the norm is guys are going to expect you to work. But you could be a stay-at-home wife if you show him that you have more value than the money you bring in,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
which is tricky, but doable.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your thoughts on that,
Yeah.
bro?
Well, one thing I like about you is, you teach a lot about just traditional values, traditional roles. And for some strange reason, people call you controversial. Isn't that
Yeah,
funny?
I
It's
don't really
like
get that either.
just because you go out there and you say basic stuff that people have been saying for generations about, chivalry and taking care of a woman and paying. And like I watched a video on yours today, which is like, don't have celebrity crushes. Great advice, like basic advice. Celebrity crushes are stupid. They're so immature and they're not good for a relationship. So, yeah, I think what you're talking about as far as husband and wife and working and all those roles, yeah, I agree with what you said. Like the most important job in the world is got to be the stay-at-home parent. It is the cornerstone to society. Actually, it's been proven to be the one of the most stressful jobs in the world. But if you look at some of the worst criminals in the world, the most jacked up cultures, the most horrible cities, you'll see that there's not a stay-at-home parent or there's just one parent. So you could actually solve a lot of problems by having a stay-at-home parent. It could actually change the world. In fact, if you really want to change the world, you can become a foster parent, and that has been proven to like actually change society. Just good foster parenting. So yes, I agree with what you just said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The best thing, as you said, the good family unit. Hey,
Good family
good thing.
unit. So how do you respond when people call you controversial when you're really making content about good family values, good dating, good patience, chivalry, morals, like taking care of a woman, being patient, loving, selfless. Does that bother you? Do you love it? It's like, yeah, like how do you handle it? You're so used to it now.
Yeah, I don't really think about it. I think it's strange when people call me controversial. I'll say, okay, that's cool. Let's get. I don't even worry about it too much. Um,
Right.
the really only thing people disagree with me on sometimes is um I'm not much on PC type relationships, like political
Hmm.
type relationships where
Yeah.
people say it's okay to go out at night without your partner and be best friends with your ex and all these things, which obviously is going to hinder the success of your relationship to some degree.
right.
The way I think about it, a 10 out of 10 relationships, the most important thing in your life, basically. So why do anything to sabotage it? Like, why set yourself up for success? Do the best thing you can for it, really.
I absolutely agree with you. There's so many people out there, um, voices on social media saying, yeah, this is okay, or yeah, what's the big deal? Relax, but really what we need to hear is like, right, there needs to be a foundational approach to this lovely thing called marriage or a deep connection like marriage. It needs to be prioritized, it needs to be protected, and it's tough. And so one thing I love about your videos is you're speaking a lot of wisdom about that, about protecting and honoring each other and taking this very seriously and being patient until you find somebody that can really treat you the way you want to be treated. That is really important.
100%. I think a lot of people choose a partner based on proximity. They just go, well, that person's close to me. They look okay. Try a relationship. Terrible metrics to choose someone on. And if you choose the wrong person, you're not going to have a good relationship. Even if you try really hard, do everything right, it's just a lack of compatibility, lack of chemistry is just not going to work.
I think one thing that you're kind of doing, tell me your thoughts on this, is that you're kind of mentoring people through social media about, hey, like you maybe never thought about this, but this is healthy. Do this, or hey, don't do that. These do's and don'ts. And so how does that feel to be kind of such a impactful mentor to so many people?
Fantastic. It feels really good. It's almost like a fatherly type role. I love it. I love it. It feels very important and it changes a lot of it helps a lot of people. Yeah, very lucky.
When you made this video recently on you should not have celebrity crushes, I thought back to the first 6 months of marriage. One of my buddies came up to me, and this was like, I've been married for 20 years. He's like, so who do you like, man? Do you like old Demi Moore or young Demi Moore? Because if you remember 20 years ago, and I was like, huh. And I thought to myself, yeah, yeah, okay. Because Demi Moore is making a comeback 20 years. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to pass on that. I'm just going to pass. And he's like, what do you mean pass? And he's like teasing me, he's roasting me. I was like, look, man, I'm married now and I don't want to even think about it. Like, there's only one woman I really want to think about. And I don't want to go down that path. It's just stupid. It's immature. I'm a married man now. So there needs to be like a funeral when you get married or in a deep 10 out of 10 relationship. You need to put away and something needs to die. All that childish stuff, all that other stuff, all that other flirty stuff, all that other thinking needs to die so that true birth can like really take place.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's sort of difference like you're becoming a real man and getting rid of the childish teenage type immature mindset. Hey,
Who you probably know from your metrics, but I'm curious. What's your who follows you? Is it 50-50 men and women? Is it mostly men? Is it mostly women?
it's about 75% women.
I'm coming in around 75% women as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that really, why do you think you're at 75% women?
Um, I'm guessing women care more about relationships, marriage. I'm assuming to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Um, Men care about it as well, but they kind of sometimes, if they find it a bit confusing, they would rather forget about it and concentrate on something which is very easy to bring them joy. But the problem is, they learn the hard way that if you ignore important areas of life, it's going to bring you a lot of pain.
Hmm.
So don't ignore the important areas. You put in the work. If you're not amazing at relationships, become amazing at it. I was terrible at relationships my whole 20s. No idea what I was doing.
Were you?
If you're
Yeah.
bad at it
Me
as
too. Me
well,
too.
if you're bad at money or
Yeah.
relationships, fitness or whatever, you can learn.
Yeah.
You can learn.
I think that's how I'm in. I mean, I wasn't always this type of parent, man. I was such a dummy back in my 20s, so immature. I was a selfish young husband. I was a goofy dad, and I was like, this is not who I want to be. I had to learn. And back then it was before social media, so I had to read books and I had to talk to people. And that's one of the beautiful things about what you're doing on social media. And what I'm doing too is you're mentoring people. We're teaching people through this little thing called, TikTok and Facebook Reels and
I love it.
all that good stuff.
I love it. Um, yeah, it'd be awesome if people are very lucky these days and they don't realize it, that they have so much education, so much potential to do it. With
Yeah.
as far as parenting is concerned, brother, what do you think that the easiest stage is of parenting? What's the hardest stage?
Oh gosh, yeah, no, there's no question. There's no answer to that question. I was just talking about that with people in my membership recently. Like if you've got
Is it different
a
on each child?
it every child is different. You got to parent the child you have, not the child you want. If you've For some parents, the teenage years are actually like a lot easier than when they're 5 and 6 and 7. And for some parents, it's the exact opposite. It's like, where'd my little baby go? I was talking to a mom today, and she's got a 7-year-old son. It's like 6 months ago, everything was so great. And now he's 7 and a half. He's calling me the B word. He's cussing at me. He's acting out. Where did my little baby go? Yeah, I think a lot of it actually has to do more with the parent's mentality. Like I know for me, parenting is much easier for me when the child is age 7 and up. And it's actually a little harder. It's a lot harder and more stressful for me that younger age. How about you? Do you want to? So, how about you? What age would you say is the age for parenting you enjoy the most, or it just comes easiest or most natural to you?
It is a tough question because they're all I like little babies, newborns, 1 year olds, toddlers.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not a huge fan of toilet training stuff.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
changing nappies. I've changed a lot of nappies. Nappies are fine. Trying to
Yeah.
teach a child how to use a toilet, I find challenging. Um,
Yeah.
but I also have a 10-year-old son. Fantastic. Um, yeah, different challenges. I love father. It seems to be very easy for me to be very fatherly, and
Yeah.
not. It didn't used to be, uh,
Yeah.
but now I've sort of mastered my emotions and everything. My life's gone really well.
Yes.
Easy for me to be a good leader, be friendly and nice, but also
Right.
just great all around. It's not too difficult. Um, One thing I try to do as well to be the best parent I can be is I make sure my relationships are 10 out of 10 because
Yeah, man.
the whole home environment is beautiful. Everyone's
Yep.
happy. And then it's just parenting is just so much easier after the relationship, eh?
Oh my gosh, that is some of the best. I mean, you give a lot of great advice, but whenever I see your videos, we're like, yeah, you've got to prioritize your spouse to that one relationship. I'm hearting that video. It is so true. And it's tough though, man. It is tough because the kids just require so much attention. And you want to be in 2024, we've got a bunch of parents who are really wanting to be good parents. They're watching parenting videos, they're taking courses, they're scared of traumatizing their kids. And then what, the sad thing is then neglect their relationship and they might even end up divorced or separated. And that is just what the heck? It's like what are you doing?
It's so crazy. It's like putting the cart before the horse, really. Hey, got to make
Yeah,
sure that
man.
relationship's a 10 out of 10. And then the parenting, you can both give it 110%. Um, Lots of external factors which obviously affect a family and kids. What do you think of the general school system at the moment?
Oh man, very problematic. I mean, people have been complaining about the American school system for a long time, but they don't even do anything about it.
Same as
And
Australia, brother. I think there's a lot of similarities. Same as sort of
so
system.
similar.
And there's a few things I don't blame the teachers. Teachers are
You can't blame the teachers.
seem like they're trying their best, but the system, I'm like, oh, this is
You've got to blame the politicians and the superintendents. My book, which I've been writing for 3 years, hopefully it'll come out this year. It's called "Schools Won't Teach This: A Parent's How-To Guide to Raise Wise, Emotionally Intelligent Adults." Because if you think about the most important lessons in life, our kids are not going to learn in schools, like how to grow self-esteem, how to be a lovely person, how to handle your anger, how to build a 10 out of 10 relationship, how to have a healthy relationship with your parents, with your friends, how to have good romantic relationships, how to have good hygiene. So this is a parent's job to teach them these things. And in our school system, we're teaching kids a bunch of stupid stuff that they're never going to use, and everyone knows it. But for some reason, the politicians aren't changing anything about it, which then makes the parents' job harder, which then produces more challenged kids and who are struggling in our society, right?
I think a lot of people are sick of it. I saw I saw one statistic which shows homeschooling is at the highest it's ever been, or for a long time, or something.
So cool thing about homeschooling is it's always been there. It's always going to be here. And you're having, and I think you're sensing this. I think if you're our our society went so far to one direction as far as like pampering kids, like pampering their anxiety, like handing them screens, shutting them out, trying to how do we handle all these screens, all these anxious kids, all these scared kids? And now, thank God, we're having authors, having TikTokers, we're having super smart psychologists, and there's a backlash being like, okay, we've got to figure out what the heck are we doing to our kids here? What kind of parenting are we doing here?
I saw that statistic the other day. They took two 7-year-olds. One has been in therapy for 5 years, and one had done none. And the one in therapy was atrocious. He didn't want to grow up. His emotions
Atrocious,
were
right?
just pampered, just really.
Yeah, thank God. I think there's a woman named Sandra. She wrote a book. She was on Joe Rogan, and she's like, "Look, I did all this research, and if you think all these kids and teenagers have been in therapy, they should be the healthiest kids because they're getting professional help, very expensive help, but they're the most screwed up kids. They're not getting any better, and they view themselves as victims. And so, yes, there's people like me, people that therapists, there's good intention people that love kids, but those people, I'm calling you out, I'm calling you in. We've got to reassess and think about how we're helping hurting kids and make some changes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of confused people out there. 100%. When Ryan gets a bit older, we're going to do private education, so I'll just hire a teacher. So basically homeschooling, but not by me per se. I might do some
Yes,
bit of both.
that Jake, I think that is definitely the future. You see Elon Musk, a lot of people from Silicon Valley have done that. We've done that. There's more and more opportunities popping up. We've done a ton of homeschooling.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I think it's almost similar to your one of your main messages is prioritizing your 10 out of 10 relationship. Yes, let's do that. And then what's next? Okay, well, what's next is, making money is important, your job is important, your physical health is important. These are all important things, but you know what? You have children. And what can we do to make that relationship 10 out of 10 to really lead this kid and to put this kid in a position of emotional health, mental health and family health, and then when you have all those things, the chances of them being physically healthy, academically healthy, it's going to skyrocket.
So true. So true. What if someone had no idea about this sort of stuff? What would you say? How important is it that your child likes you a lot and you like your child a lot? Or is that
It
not
actually is actually very important, man. Yeah, there's this old saying, and I'd love to get your take on that too. You're like really all about relationships, investments, loving relationships. So you tell me too, like the importance of having your children like you. I think that there's that old saying, I don't care, I'm your parent, I'm not your friend. I don't care if you hate me. That's like a horrible thing because yes, you are the parent. Everyone knows that. But you know what good parenting is like being a friend, because what is a friend? It means you like your friends, you enjoy being around them, you feel safe talking to them, they're cool, you're enjoyable, so you don't have to give up that and like sacrifice one for the other. You can have both of those, but it's hard. What do you think about how can you as a parent really nurture like a positive friendship with your child even though you're the parent? What's your thoughts on that?
I treat my friends pretty similarly as well. So if I have a normal friendship with one of my friends and he's being a goose or saying something stupid, I say, don't do that. That's dumb, dude. Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'll
yeah,
pop up on it as
yeah.
well. Same as with kids. So even though I'm friendly and I want them to like me and I want to like them, I still if it they need to be pulled up a little bit on something or a little bit of guidance, easy. And it's just a general level of respect, but I love that friendship factor as well.
Yeah, it's really cool that in effective ways you find ways of talking to your kids to be like, look, I really don't like this. It's hurting our relationship. And there's this, we've all heard this saying, I'm calling you out, but what's really a better saying, expect for parenting, for friendships, for marriage is calling someone in, is speaking to them in a way they want to care about your feelings and you want your kids see you as a human being. And This is hard for some of us because we weren't really raised this way, you know. Our parents didn't talk to us this way, so it's like a little harder to learn how to talk to our kids in a really loving, kind way.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true. I'm
here's a
yeah.
yeah. I got a question for you. Okay, it's a very personal question, but tell us about a little bit about your childhood and your parents. And did your parents, one of them or both, did they make a really positive impact on the coach that you are today, or was it maybe the opposite, where it was like maybe not the most positive experience? Then you had to learn like how to do this through books or other people.
Probably closer, probably to the opposite. I'm one of seven children. My parents had eight kids,
Mhm.
so never had one-on-one time with my parents ever. My dad basically just worked every day, so I didn't spend much time with him. Um, my mum has a few issues, so she didn't spend. She
Mhm.
basically just would spend time with the baby, and then most of the rest of her kids were just left to her own devices. So somewhat of a
Yeah.
unhealthy environment. But at the same
Mhm.
time, um, not a bad childhood. I wouldn't say
Okay.
it's a
Yeah.
bad childhood. It's overall pretty good, really. Definitely in comparison to other people's, overall pretty good. Completely different in the way I do things.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more hands-on sort of thing. Um,
Yeah.
so I'd say they never really had a 10 out of 10 relationship either
Mhm.
because they didn't know the skills of how to do
Right.
it properly.
Yeah.
Just a lot of little things, and my dad was always prioritized with the stress of work. He was never very good at emotional stress regulation,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
mitigation. So he was always stressed about something to his own detriment.
Yeah.
And the problem is then it doesn't leave room for anything else. So
Yeah. I'm guessing the answer is yes, but maybe not. I want to assume. Did your parents imperfections, your parents dysfunctions, the things you didn't like about your parents' parenting and marriage, has it fueled you to be the man you are and the coach that you are? And how
100%.
so?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. They definitely had a lot of good benefits. Taught me the aspect of work ethic, giving 110%, stuff like that. But then it
Yeah.
also, I saw a lot of things that I wanted to do completely differently. I wanted to have a romantic, loving relationship.
Hmm.
And my dad told me he always wanted that too and never got it. He could have had it. People can
Jeez.
achieve any goal if they
Yeah.
do what it takes.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
people, they see it, they go, I guess a 10 out of 10 relationship's not for me.
Yeah.
You can achieve anything if you want
Yeah.
to. If you're willing
I
to do
love
what
it.
it takes.
I
So yeah,
agree. It takes the
definitely,
hard work.
definitely the little things have pushed me to go, you know what? They could have done better. And I'm going to help
Hmm.
people in a similar position make sure they go better as well. So I've helped heaps of couples like them get to a 10 out of 10 just by doing some simple fundamentals, nothing too complicated, just a lot of little things. And they get to a 10 out of 10 and they're an amazing relationship.
Yeah, man. How do your parents feel about if they're still with us? How do they feel about how does your family, your siblings, and your parents, if they're still with us, how do they feel about your work and your success on social media?
Yeah. Um, it's funny. So I'm quite a successful relationship coach. I'm probably close to the top five in the world. So I'm
Mm.
up there. I'm quite successful, coached thousands of people. Um, Going fantastic. My but my dad's not a fan. He thinks coaching is stupid and thinks it's coaching is a
Mm,
bit of a scam.
gosh, really? Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, so I was surprised. It doesn't really
So,
what I do anyway. I
yeah, man.
There's some pros and cons to
Thanks for just being real, man, and sharing that. Now, there's another question. You don't have to answer it, but how's that affected you? And maybe how's that affected your wife? Because that's probably really pisses her off. You've probably handled it even better than her, I bet.
yeah, it didn't really affect me too much. So there's some pros and cons growing up in a really, really big family where he didn't put much, where I didn't spend any one-on-one time with the parents. So throughout the whole life, I kind of saw my older sister as a mother figure. So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
kind of looked after me, made my lunch, took me under a
Hmm.
wing kind of a thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, she's super lovely. So if my parents like or dislike something, who cares? Their opinion doesn't have
Right.
much impact on me because I never had that connection. So there was no connection there. So even though they are my parents, they're about the same level as a grandparent. You're like, oh yeah, they're my
Yeah.
parents, I guess. Like there was never a connection because there was no one-on-one time really.
I'm glad you shared that because so many people can relate, including me, to
Yeah.
what you just said. It is, and it's sad, but that it actually is. It can be used for good because it could
Yeah.
fuel us as who we are today. I have learned from my parents. I want to take the good and leave the bad, and I want to do better. And
Oh,
I know that's what fuels me in my work. It's I know my parents did the best they could, and I'm not okay with what they did. I want to do better, and
yeah.
I'm doing the best I can.
I wouldn't
And
say at any stage my parents are necessarily bad people.
yeah,
Um, Not criminals, didn't do anything illegal to me. So overall good. They gave me good genes,
yeah,
healthy, strong. So definitely
yeah.
a lot of positives in there. I see it all as I try to reframe everything into a positive light the best I can.
Right.
Yeah.
I I don't have I don't interview too many celebrities, but I'm starting to do it more. And so you are a celebrity, and whenever I ask them celebrities, I
I
normally
don't
just
feel like
focus
a
in.
celebrity.
Oh, I normally just ask them about their home life. And I try to prep them beforehand. Like, I'm not going to ask you the questions that everyone asks you. Like, this is like, parenting stuff of what I do. So here is an interesting question. Um, when people stop you on the street and they say, "Oh my gosh, I love your videos," or
Yep.
how does your 10-year-old respond?
He loves it.
He does?
He loves it.
Oh, tell us. Why does he love it? Yeah, that's so cool.
We're driving through McDonald's the other day, and the girl says, "Oh, I love your videos. You changed my life, or whatever."
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Thank you. I awesome. I appreciate it. And keep driving. And saying, "Oh, that's so cool. You're famous now."
Yeah, that's so nice to hear, man.
He
That must
loves it.
feel so good, especially like I hope this is fair to say. I hope I'm not crossing any lines, but to have like your primary, man in your life, your dad, not really support your work, but then to have your boy, man, your 10-year-old boy, that man that you're raising, to like, Dad, I approve and I'm your cheerleader. I love what you're doing, man. Keep it up, Dad. That must be like that must feel so good.
It does. It does feel really good. The person I am now would have made 12-year-old me very proud. Yeah.
That's so
So
nice. Oh, nice.
that's what I like to do as well. So heaps of young people look up to me and go, "Oh, I want to be just like him." I go, "Brilliant.
You
Perfect."
know what? I love what you said. And you know what? If you're listening to this or watching this video, we should all talk like that. You should not be afraid of talking like that. I even want to say it to myself. I want to say what you said because I've never said it before. And it's for us to say that. It's like there's something in our minds that's holding us back from saying that. The 12-year-old boy, the little Sean, man, what a rowdy little character that little dude was. He would be proud of the man and the dad and the father that I became.
Oh,
And it feels good to say.
100%. I
Thanks.
was saying to my wife the other day, I said, 12-year-old me would be very impressed that he has a wife.
Yeah, that's wonderful, man. We're just growing out on talking about our little younger selves. So that is wonderful.
Yeah, 100%. People can achieve it. Um, don't let some people let fear hold them back. Don't let fear hold you back from things. Give it a best. Give it your best shot. Give 110%. Learn as you go.
I think that's an understatement. Everybody lets fear hold them back. The question we need to ask ourselves, for how long are we going to continue to let fear hold us back from our true authentic selves of being who we really want to be, or we have the courage to step into it?
Yeah.
And what's really wonderful about your story, man, your backstory is, I mean, you just stepped into your calling, you stepped into your passion, into your fears, and now here you are, helping millions of people and coaching, you know, thousands of people. It's just a great story.
Yeah, 100%. Um, it's almost like I got rid of fear a few years ago or something, just somehow got rid of it. And zero holding me back. Um, you only have so much time on the earth. You don't
You
want to,
do.
you want to give it 110%. And why, like I think to myself, why can't you be perfect? Really, why can't you absolutely smash every goal and be fantastic in every area? Why not?
You sure can. And it takes hard work, it takes intention, and it takes courage. I know for me, I've been just having, lots of different breakthroughs over the last decade, and it was about 2 years ago, I just had these more through breakthroughs. I feel like, wow, I'm continuing to grow in my early 40s, and I just feel less afraid of what people think of me or afraid of the future. And I remember some of my friends were like, you're kind of acting weird. Like, they're like, what's happening with you? But it's just me. I'm changing, and I'm just like who I'm becoming. And I hope you like it too. And if you don't, well, then, we might have some issues here. But yeah, it takes a lot of strength because it's scary to change, and that's partly why people don't change and step into their fears.
Pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. What do your kids think about what you do?
Mostly very positive, but mixed. I've got three kids, 19, 14, and 7. And so they are very supportive of my work. For me to thrive in my work, I have to have a lot of strong boundaries in around my family and also with them. Like, they have to be able to trust me that I'm not going to talk about them or tell their stories, right? Or post their pictures if they're not really into it. And so they, I think in the beginning when I was stopped by people, it was a little bit surprising for them. But now when they've been able to listen to people when they stop me on the street, be like, "Hey, is changing my life," or "You mean so much to me," or "Your podcast means so much to me," that thankfully they're being able to hear it. And I think they're really proud of me, and I know they're really supportive, and it's really good. But I say mixed because they're teenagers, and it's still just challenging because, like, it's just social media and just having they have actually two parents who have a very large social media following, and that must be tough. It must be tough for them.
Your wife has a good social media following?
My wife was actually a pretty large influencer before I was doing home decor, Danielle Donohue. And so, yes, I just have compassion for my kids because they've just been like, going through, it's just not easy being a kid when you're, in a world of social media, when all the messages, be careful, social media, be careful, which is true. They need to be careful. Then have two parents on social media. And so that's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot of fear out there. I don't want kids to be scared of social media the same as scared of relationships. Just learn how to do it properly. Just don't be scared about it. It can be a fantastic part of life. Social media can be fantastic. Just
Sure can.
be smart. Just learn a few little rules around it. Learn what not to do. Easy. Nothing to be worried about too much.
Yeah, I think you're really, you're talking really a lot about the power of good parenting right there. Our kids need good parents who are going to walk them through those rules that you just talked about and mentor them. And again, this is kind of like another reason why you're so successful in your work, just mentoring people through these stages of life. And this is really what we need more of in our society: people mentoring each other. And we've really gotten away from that over the last 100 years, even, because if you actually think about it, it wasn't that long ago that we were all living in like kind of villages together or huts together, and you were surrounded by your aunties, your uncles, your godparents, your grandparents, even your great grandparents. You're living together, breaking bread together, working the farm together, and you're just like learning from all these people. And now we've got all these people that are separated all over. And like, teach me how to have a good relationship. No one ever taught me, and I don't have anyone to teach me. And so, this is, I think, a big reason why your following is just so powerful.
Yeah. It's so funny how much the family unit has changed over the centuries. It used to be such a strong family unit, and now it just scatters. Everyone just goes their own way. They may sleep under the same roof, but then not much time together, no activities, connection, quality time,
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you that question. Like, just kind of putting you on the spot. If you had to pick one or two just here on the spot of things that have really broke down the family unit, what's one or two things that come to mind for you, Jake?
Um, it sounds really bad, but women working all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds
At
bad,
the
but here's the thing with it. If you think about a family unit working and the
Mhm.
and the mum's working all the time, who's it benefiting?
Right. Yep.
Who's it benefiting?
Yep.
Um, the government getting her taxes, but
Yep.
other than that, everyone else loses.
I don't know why you say it sounds bad because you're right. I get why you said it sounds bad, but we need to just say it as it is. Like,
I don't want to say women shouldn't work.
right.
That
We're not
sounds
saying
terrible.
that.
No.
We're not saying that. Women should work if they want to work, but what you're talking about is so much different about how having, children are latchkey kids or they're going to daycare or they don't have that stay-at-home parent. And it's really made the family unit struggle. And now our houses keep getting bigger and larger rooms. And then we put these screens all around. And then you go out to a restaurant and they have screens everywhere.
It's crazy.
It's crazy times.
When we go out to dinner, no screens at all.
No screens. No
You
way,
got
Jose.
you go out to dinner, no iPads, no phones, even the adults, no phones,
No way.
and talk to each other. Simple
Yes.
thing, simple things. Even before dinner, we all hold hands. You got to say three things you're grateful for. Even when we have a guest over, hold hands. What? What are the three things you're grateful for today? So they got to
Love it.
pick three things. It makes some
We
people feel a bit uncomfortable, but you go, hey, when's the last time you said what you're grateful for? Never.
so great. Yep. Yeah, we say grace as a family. We would sit down, and I think something that I've been incorporating into our grace recently is this is how like I've been changing the way I say grace. One of the things I'll say is, I say, God, help us Donahues to be a family of love, a family of light. When people think of us, that they would think of people who care about others. Help us to be charitable and giving and patient. Help us all. And I think like I'm really proud of that prayer because I feel like I'm kind of being a leader and I'm just like not just praying thank you, which is great, but I'm casting a vision. I'm casting an identity over my family and over my kids. This is when they think of you, when they think of this family, this is what I want us all to think for. And we can't do this without each other's help. We're asking God for help. And that is like, talk about little things that bring family units together. Gratitude,
Oh,
grace, that matters.
it's brilliant. And all everyone listening to that grace at the same time, it's a big push of positive reassurance on all of them, going, okay, this the leader of our family, this is the vision he has for all of us. And they will subconsciously start to fulfill that automatically. Gives them a
Yeah,
much better
buddy.
chance in life. 100%.
Yeah, buddy.
So I used to be in the army about 10 or 11 years ago or something. One of the things I do in my household is we do room inspections.
Mhm.
So it sounds very militarized. We do it in a
Yeah,
nice
it does. Yeah, it does.
people people that we the kids they stand at the end of their bed at attention, right? Look over their room a little bit, and then we say our family oath. So I made up this oath, right? We say that, and then I shake my son's hand, tell him I'm proud of him, and give him a hug, and that's the end of the room inspection. And you know what? Some people go, room inspections, that's so harsh. Loves it.
Oh,
Love
that's so
it. Hates
great.
not doing it.
Do you mind telling us what is your family oath?
Yeah, so have you ever heard of the sheepdog theories? There's sheepdogs and there's wolves in the world.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's based on that sort of thing. So we say, I'm a sheepdog, I'm strong, I'm a champion, I'm a warrior. I will sacrifice myself, my family for sheep to kill wolves, go sheepdogs. That's the
Oh my God, that is so cool.
yeah. We say it very,
Yes.
very masculinely, very
Yes.
amping up, right? Um, yeah, some people
That's so
that's
cool.
full on, but my son absolutely loves. He hates not doing it. He comes against me. Hey, come on, let's do the room inspection.
I recently did a podcast episode a couple days ago. It's called How to Speak Identity into Your Kids because some of my most popular videos, which have been seen by many millions, the title of the video is something like How to Speak Identity into an Angry Kid, How to Speak Identity into an Anxious Kid. And so I'm going to share that story because on my next podcast, because it was such a popular episode, we're going to do part twos. And that is a brilliant way to build identity into a kid, these rituals, family creeds.
Yeah,
And the key to it is you do it in a way that the kid likes it. Because if the kid doesn't like it, if he wasn't vibing with it, well, then, that's not going to work. You can't just force a kid to do these things. And that would be very militaristic. So, what a cool story that you and your son have to share that together.
I absolutely love it. And it's kind of like building, I want to build a very, very strong, incredible human, right? And
Yeah.
be a beautiful member of the community. So how do you build something? Same as building a house. You build it, and it slowly gets
There you
bigger
do.
and bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
Um, Beating a child obviously is not building them up. So we're constantly
Nope.
building up their identity, making them stronger and stronger and stronger each day until they are super strong. So I just constantly just work on that building up, building up, building up. I think if you have that approach, it's hard for the child not to like it, really, from what I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially at the end. They did the hard work and then the oath, and then the huge encouragement, pride, physical affection, all that beautiful praise at the end as well.
Yeah, man. If I could, let me shift subjects with you. One of the things I've really enjoy listening to you about, and I've seen you teach about this inside of your membership. I've seen your videos. Let's chat for a second about masculine versus feminine energy, because I've been really intrigued, because in my kind of upbringing, in my culture, that was something that we've never really heard. And then when I did hear about it, it was kind of like, that's like freaky stuff come out of California. That's like hippie stuff, like energy. What is that? But it's absolutely true. It totally makes sense. And we need people to teach us about it. And so I'm learning from you about that. And I got a couple questions about you on masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, 100%. Shoot.
So let's see, what do I want to ask? How do I want to phrase it?
It's very important.
I think something that I've seen many men struggle with, and I know I've struggled with it at times, is that I really want my wife to really thrive in her feminine energy. I want to support it, and I want to nurture it. I want to encourage it. And when she's not in that energy, sometimes it feels like she's actually more into like a masculine energy. And
Yeah.
it's really painful and it's challenging for us men, and it's confusing. And so we don't know really what to say or do, because then what some men do is then they become even more masculine. And now you get two masculines going at it, and that doesn't seem to work. And so, what advice would you say for a man that really wants to be a leader and help nurture this positive masculine energy and his wife's feminine energy, but she's having a hard time with the feminine energy?
Yeah. So there's lots of things you can do. And you gotta take that responsibility on as a man, that how well your wife is doing is your responsibility. You gotta make sure
Mhm.
she goes well.
Yes.
So women often they have this bad trait where they don't put themselves first. Okay. You have to force her to put herself first sometimes, do a bit of self-care, which is going to push her back into her feminine energy. So you stop and go, honey, you're pushing too hard on yourself today. You're getting angry. You're all over the shop. I want you to take the rest of the day off. I want you to go and get a massage. I want you to go for a swim. I want you to do a few things just for you this afternoon. Okay. And she says, oh, I've got too much to do. I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. You need to go and put yourself first for the rest of the afternoon. Okay.
That is brilliant, lovely advice.
Yeah. I call it but you see, also there's any guys listening. I don't want you to just do I just don't want you to say the words I said, but I also want you to do the tone. So what I call that tone is, it's what I call the Santa Claus approach. Santa Claus, I kind of see him as probably one of the best of one of the best things which really emphasizes masculine energy well.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. All right. Tell me. I've never heard anything like this before. This is really interesting.
He's reliable, he's solid, he's not gonna let you down, he's a great leader, he's
It's
decisive,
hilarious.
he's
So
protective.
true. And
He
he's so
really
likable. Man, he's a leader. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Tell me
he's
more.
he's such an imaginary character, but at the same time, he embodies masculine energy so well. You could see him going, It's okay. Don't worry. I got it. I want you to go and do this, this, and this.
You're
He's
going to look like Santa Claus. You're going to be Santa Claus in like 30, 40 years. That beard's going to
yep.
turn white and you're going to be like a Santa Claus with a sweet Australian accent, man.
Yeah, 100%. So any guys watching this, sometimes they hear the word leadership and they're thinking, what does that mean? What am I
Yeah.
supposed to be like a colonel in the army? What's leader mean? Embody
Yeah.
Santa Claus. Okay, Santa Claus isn't going to get angry at you. He's not going to lose his temper. He's a good leader.
Mhm.
He does what's best for the whole family and takes
It's
care of you.
really, really interesting. It was so good. All right, tell me another. This is too good. You're just rocking these answers. What else can a man do? And if I'm being annoying, let's move on, Sean. Okay, what else can a man do? This is so good to lead his woman into more feminine energy in him and masculine.
Yeah, for sure. So push it into self-care, but if there is something specifically which is upset about, you want to use advanced communication techniques. So she's really upset about something, seems angry. You'll say,
Yeah.
hey, what's wrong? You seem upset today. Most likely she'll probably say nothing, right? Nothing's wrong. Then you go, come on, talk to me. What's on your mind? She'll say nothing again. You go back and forth, back and forth. Say, okay, give me a little hint. What's on your mind? What's really made you angry? And she'll eventually keep probing her in a positive way. And eventually she'll tell you what's on her mind. Talk, let her vent it out a little bit and go, okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Try to do a 20-second hug after that. And if there's a problem that
Hmm.
can be solved, try to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not a solvable thing, and she might be angry at something her mum said or something. Who knows? Could be anything. But then what you want to do the 20-second hug and then move on with it. Yeah. And the other thing you can do as well, if she is complaining about something for a long period of time, let her vent it out, but then reframe it. Okay. So for example, say your wife is complaining about her mother, right?
Yeah.
After 5 minutes, go, okay, now I want you to say three things you like about her
Hmm.
and flip it.
Hmm.
It'll change her mindset really well. Okay.
Really nice. Yeah.
Remember, your job as a man, as a leader, is to pull them in to be more, okay,
Yeah.
and to show them, but in not in a in a non-criticizing type way. Yeah. So you go,
Yeah.
we can do better. Let's do better. Yeah.
Really nice, man. Really nice. That's
Lot
good.
of lot
Thank
of
you.
lot of positive influence.
Yeah, really positive. That Santa Claus thing really got me. Really got to me. Really love it. Such a positive person, Santa Claus. He's a leader. He's jolly. He's kind. He's patient.
But
He's
very
very
strong.
strong. Very strong. Yeah,
I
that's
like
so
the
good.
about how to make it easier for people to understand exactly what we're talking about. We throw a lot of
Mhm.
words around. They're like, what does that really mean, though? Santa Claus, I feel like it's a good representation of what I'm trying to talk about here. Because a lot of people go masculine, they go, so what are we thinking, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
you gotta, it's more of an emotional type of things.
Yeah. One of the reasons why you are so popular is I think one of the reasons why Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, and hopefully people say that about me, about why I'm so popular, is because it's just a confusing time to be a man. And what's happening is we're redefining like masculinity. We're redefining like what is a good, strong man. And it was not the 80s of Rambo, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or violence or aggression, and it's definitely not what maybe you see now with like, these weak men everywhere who are passive and they don't know how to stand up and they're blaming people. It's like this is what our men they need mentoring and they need a vision for this is how to be a strong leader as a parent. This is how you develop a 10 out of 10 relationship. And so keep up the good work, man.
No, 100%. We're both doing similar things, really, aren't we? Well, it's going to be interesting. Where are we going to be in another 5 years?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that.
Because where were you 5 years ago, Sean?
So are you talking about as a culture? Are you talking about me as a man and as an individual? Are you talking about social media? What are you talking
Just
about, Jake?
just you in life.
Hmm.
Because obviously you've done a lot in business in the last 5 years and coaching. 5 years ago, you weren't really in the same spot. Hey,
No way. I feel like for me, there's this calling upon my life. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like have a role in the universe. And I take it very seriously. and I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to get canceled. I am supposed to be making parenting content and helping people in my membership. And I'm supposed to be teaching and role playing and guiding. And I'm supposed to be writing books and making videos and working with people. So I just think that I just need to focus on today and just being a loving, wise person and just keep showing up. And I just see that uh, all the results are going to take care of themselves because this is just not my identity. This is not like this is who I am, but the success of my impact is really not very important to me. What's important to me is, am I showing up with wisdom and love, with my own family first, with my wife first, my kids, my friends, my own little community, and with the people that I'm serving.
I
How
think
about you?
it
Tell me
seems
your
like,
thoughts on.
yeah, 100%. It seems like your purpose in life is kind of to help as many people as you can in the world be fantastic parents.
If you were to ask me 10 years ago, um, what's going on with your life? I would have said, you know what? I don't really know. I just know that I'm just supposed to show up for the people that I see. And I would have never imagined being on social media or like helping millions of people. And I think maybe why I'm doing this is because I don't really need it. It's not like I've been striving to be famous or I'm striving to do all these things. Like this is something that has like I've just had to step into and a little bit even reluctantly at times, like, all right, this is happening. And I do have great goals and ambitions, but it's just a journey that I'm like kind of it's an invitation that I'm accepting. How about you? Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years from today?
One other thing I just want to say before that, when I first saw your videos, I thought this guy needs to help as many people as he can.
Hmm.
So I should try to help this guy because he needs to, the more people he helps, the better the world's going to be anyway.
Thanks,
So
man.
he
Thank you.
should, the more famous you are, the more people you're going to help.
Yeah.
Even though you don't really care about fame, I don't really care about fame either. Some people call me a celebrity or influencer or famous.
Hmm. Hmm.
It
Yeah,
sounds weird. I'm like, okay, if it's a weird, I don't see
I agree.
that light at
I agree.
all.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but my purpose in life, I feel, is to help as many people as I can with relationships.
Yep.
Basically, at the same time, I'm the person who I needed 10 years ago at the moment.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That's a vision. That sounds like that is like one of your why statements. Be the person you needed 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
100%.
Mm,
100%. And that's a good, if anyone wants to start a business in anything, what do you want which you don't have? What
right.
area do you have trouble in? Do that
Yeah, man.
because you need it. You're going to be a customer. Would you be a customer of yourself 10 years ago?
Yeah,
I definitely would have been 100%.
that's really cool.
But with the same purpose, I just want to help as many people as I can, which means getting in front of many eyeballs as possible. So that more
Definitely.
people, I can influence more people to show them, hey, you can have a fantastic life. Some people have a great career and they have a healthy body, and that's it. The rest of their life is garbage, which
Garbage.
you're missing all the important stuff.
I know. Relationships. We life is about relationships. It's about love. It's about being loved. It's about loving your kids, loving the kids in your life, about being an uncle or an aunt or being a great neighbor, loving your neighbor. And this is what's life's about. If you don't have these things, it doesn't matter how many fancy cars you have or how beautiful your muscles are or how many fancy dresses you have. This is about people and family and
Imagine,
friendship.
imagine on your deathbed going, man, that car was awesome. I own so many awesome houses,
Oh my
but
gosh,
no
I
one's
know.
around you. It's just silly.
I have a unique friend, and he's in his mid 70s. I became friends with him because he was dating my mother-in-law, and he's a playboy for sure. He owns two limousines, man. He owns a bunch of houses, and he's never been married. He owns a couple successful businesses. And poor guy wanted to date my mother-in-law, who's an ex San Francisco 49er cheerleader, and she just dogged him, right? She's like, nah, you smoke, you're a playboy. But we spent some time around him because this sweetheart is just a good man. He's generous, he's caring. And he looked at me once when we were hanging out. He's like, I wish I'd go back in time, man. I wish I'd go back in time because I want what you have. I wish I had, settled down and got married and had kids. And so if you are watching this and that's you, then just it's time to do the hard work you need to do, face your fears and believe Jake and I when we say, there's someone out there that can love you 10 out of 10 and that you can love them 10 out of 10 and just live that life together.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. A lot of people meet a few bad eggs or someone they're just not compatible with and think, oh, relationships aren't for me. It's too many arguments. It's like, well, no, you just found someone who's not compatible. That's all. Not a big deal.
You know, has anyone ever said this to you before? Because if they haven't, we need to say it. No, really what you're doing. You post so much content out there, but really what you're doing is you're showing an image to women and men about there are good men out there, and this is what they sound like. This is what they talk like, and it's just giving people hope, I think, because in a lot of media, you don't see that. You don't see people talking about these things. There's a lot of good men out there, but they're not making TikTok videos and talking about not having celebrity crushes and doing the hard work and being kind and gentle and strong. And so, have you ever heard that before? And how does that feel that you're just showing people an image of healthy masculinity and just good, normal, loving man? What do you think about that?
I love it. I love it. There's so many good guys out there. And another thing that people need to remember, I think most guys want to be masculine and I think most women want to be feminine. They just need a
Yeah.
little bit of help, a little bit of guidance. They just haven't learned it. That's all. But they want to do it. I've
They
taken
do.
lots of people who are absolutely hopeless and within 6 months they're
Yeah.
really, really great and they can be awesome in a relationship, but they just never learned it. No one taught it them.
Everybody that signs up for my membership wants to be a great parent. They want to be close, but they need tools. They've never learned the tools. They never got the membership. They never got the mentorship. And that's what my membership does. It mentors them into it. In fact, I've actually been offering a money back guarantee for a long time inside my membership. I say, if you don't love this, it doesn't change your life, then just let me know and I'll give you your money back. For all this time, I've never had one parent ask for their money back because like parents are thirsty and they're hungry. And when you get good mentorship, you get good tools, then amazing things happen.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's that good self-education. One more question for you, Sean. Um, Me and my wife, obviously, fantastic relationship, want to have more kids. How many kids do you think we should have?
I think that is really a very personal question because there's a strong chance that you won't agree on how many kids. And so are you going to let that come between you? No, you're not.
We're pretty
So
we're pretty easygoing, so we're not really, it doesn't really matter that much. But at the same time, it's such a beautiful household and a beautiful environment.
it really is.
One part of me goes, have as many as you can because
That's
it's
what I'm thinking. That's what
such
I
a
would say to you. Have as many kids as you can because the families I know who have big families, big kids, there's empirical data and research that shows that kids from big families and us when we get older, the research on older people shows that if we are involved in our kids and our grandkids lives, like our happiness, our joy, our physical health, our longitude of life is going to skyrocket and tower over these. So yeah, so those of you that are parents and you're in the thick of it with your tough 2-year old or your tough 7-year old or a stinky teen, just realize like, yeah, you're on the grind, but there's still so many wonderful memories of you with and them and grandparenting and so much memories in your future. So don't give up hope on that.
One thing I like to do, Sean, is with whatever child it is, I like to try to set up the environment for them to succeed the best they can. Okay.
Hmm.
Because it's easy to put a child in an environment where it's going to be really, really hard for the child.
Yeah,
And I try to make it an environment where it's really not soft, but easy for them to go well and have a great day.
absolutely. Yep.
And that makes parenting so easy because the
It
child's
really did.
frustrated, they feel great, they're achieving things, they're learning things. It's just easy.
I teach with a lot of cliches. Like you gave a great metaphor and a vision for Santa Claus. And one of my favorite things to say is, you've got to parent the child you have, not the child you want. So when you really listen to your child, when you watch them, then you realize that you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to make changes. And so it's very healthy to work with that child to arrange their life in a way that works for them, that brings out more joy for them. Not an easy life, but something they feel good about. They feel good, like I'm in a position of success. And so many parents, they have this Costco mentality of parenting. Like you've got to parent all the kids the same way, parent in bulk. No, spend the time, the intention to give your kids an individual experience, and you'll enjoy it. It'll be a little bit harder at times, and it'll really create a lot of love and connection with your kids.
So true. Sure, this has been fantastic, brother.
I think we made a lot. It was great getting to know you, man. It was great vibing.